we can leave this town scared. Don't know right now, we can leave this town, we break.
What's up, it's Phil from Fit Will Exposed, and in this video I'm going to talk about a common myth that I've heard for countless years, and it's that tall lifters can never fill out. They say that if you're over 6'1", you're never going to look big, you're always going to look lanky, and you're not going to look like you lift. Well, in this video I'm going to debunk this myth, and I'm going to talk about all the benefits of being a tall lifter. Okay, so the first thing that I want to talk about is mass, because a lot of people don't seem to understand what the word mass means. Mass is short for the word massive. And if you're massive, it means you're three things. It means you're thick, it means you're wide, and it means you're tall. And if you're already above 6 foot tall, that means you already have one of the three traits of being massive without even having to work hard. So think of it like this, like you didn't even have to work to get tall. You just got tall, and now you have the height aspect, and all you really need at this point is the width and the thickness, and you're already gonna look big. So like I was saying, being tall is very different from being thick or wide. It's just a different type of mass. So I've met guys before who were like so wide that they had to like turn sideways when they pass the door. But when you're super tall, or when you're over 6 foot tall, sometimes you may even have to duck a bit if you're on the bus, or if you're going through very short doors, and that's still a respectable sign of mass. So what you have to also take into consideration is if you think of someone who's a giant, you're not thinking of like a midget. A giant is somebody who's also tall. You know, giants aren't only thick and wide. So if you want to be a giant, and ideally it would help to be tall. Yeah, so a lot of tall guys actually don't know how good they really do have it. So right now I'm going to explain the benefits of the physical traits that these tall people have, or most people who are over 6 foot tall. So the first thing is that a lot of taller people do tend to have wider frames. I think even Chris Jones said this in the past. A lot of taller guys do have like wider clavicles. It's rare that you're gonna see a guy who's like 6'2" with this very, very narrow frame. So you are gonna already have some width if you are tall, in some cases. In most cases, I'd say. Another one is you're gonna have longer legs. Obviously, you're taller. So if you have longer legs, it's gonna give you that sleek, slim, superhero look, which is gonna accentuate your upper body, which is actually like kind of like the Johnny Bravo effect. So it may be harder for you to build your legs if you're a taller guy, but as a benefit, it is going to make your upper body look bigger by comparison. Okay, so here's where things get interesting, the strength aspect. Because a lot of tall guys think like, oh, I have more range of motion, therefore I'm going to be weaker because I have to do more work, so the lifts are going to be harder. And this may be true to a certain extent, but there are still a lot of benefits to being a taller lifter. And this is actually why it's not uncommon to see a lot of strongman competitors who are 6 foot and over. In fact, if you're like my height, which is 5'11", I wouldn't be considered a tall strongman competitor. So the first strength benefit of being tall is that you're gonna have longer arms and a longer wingspan. So since you have a longer wingspan, majority of tall guys, they do have longer arms. So how is long arms beneficial? Well, long arms is gonna help you become a better puller. Like you're gonna be able to pull more weights off the floor, which is gonna help your deadlift, which is gonna in turn help with your back development. So the problem with a lot of short guys, and this is why a lot of short guys, they may be good at bench and squat. A lot of the taller guys seem to be better at deadlifts because they're more upright and because their arms are longer, so they don't have to bend forward as much. So this could be a huge benefit. This could add a lot of weight to their deadlift in a very short amount of time, and this is what's going to result in elite pullers. Aside from your pulls off the floor, if we're talking about something like strongman, having long arms is going to help with your farmer walk because it's easier to deadlift off the floor and then walk. It's going to help with your keg carry because you could just hug it. It's going to help with your stone loading because you have longer arms. It's easier to hug the stone. It could also help with your tire flips. You know, it's kind of like a deadlift in a way. It's going to help with a multitude of different lifts. So just the fact that you have these long arms, it's going to help you pack a lot more mass overall because you're going to be better at a lot of key movements. As far as lifts like Viking presses or landmine presses, you're going to be higher than a shorter guy, which is going to mean that instead of pressing the weight overhead, it's going to be like a standing incline bench. So there are still benefits for presses too. So you may not have the best bench ever, flat bench, but there's still certain pressing variations where you are going to be better or you do have more potential to be better at than the shorter individual. Another important point is that a lot of tall people tend to have very long fingers and larger hands. So it is true that a lot of them may complain about having small forearms because the insertion point is just so long from the elbow to the wrist. But what a lot of tall guys do have is the big hands. And big hands are very beneficial from a strength point of view because it's going to make it easier for you to hold on to heavier weights. It gives you a better base of support. It's going to make deadlifts easier. It's going to make some of your presses easier too. It's just going to help you on every single lift, even stuff like calisthenics. Like if you're tall and you have these really big, long hands, long fingers, it's going to make it easier to hold on to a pull-up bar or like a thick pull-up bar as opposed to a really short guy who has like these very small hands. So me, for example, I have average sized hands, but imagine if I was 6'2" or 6'3" and my fingers went up to like here. Imagine the potential of strength that I'd be able to have. So there you have it. I talked about the benefits of being tall for being massive. I talked about the physical trait benefits. I even talked about the strength side of things and how being tall could actually help you a lot on certain lifts. Now, I also want to mention that every height does have its benefits. Being shorter does have a lot of benefits too, especially for lifts like squats and benching. And I could even make a video on the benefits of short lifters if you want, just write it in the comment section. But regardless, just be happy with your height, embrace it, and understand that everybody is capable of great things. So let me know what you think in the comment section below, and I'll see you in the next video.